we spent about 3 weeks getting ready. We made all the costumes except the clothing you sent in. The kids made the backdrop, all our props, and we spent a lot of time practicing. So what's more important, I think, when we're doing a play in kindergarten is the process that we go through and learning some of the technical terms, props, cast, set, and all the work that goes into practicing and getting ready for production. The play is fabulous, but the process was really and we had great fun. So here we go.
Ready backstage? The Lorax. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away.
Grickle grass, grickle grass, street of the lifted Lorax. Grickle grass, somebody lifted the Lorax away.
What was the Lorax and why was it there and why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him, he knows. You might see the Onceler. Go knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a stick, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail in the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It started way back. Such a long, long time back. Back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swami Swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade, eating truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comforting sound of the humming fish, humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leap of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I unloaded my cart. And in no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then, I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thread. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of a stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and bluish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy.
I'm the one that speaks for the trees.
I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, "What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft?" "Lorax, Lorax, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats." The Lorax said, "Sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who would buy that fool's need." But that very minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute, a chap came along. And he thought that the seed that I knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. "You poor silly guy. You never can tell what some people will buy." "I'm busy," I told him. "Be quiet if you..." Oh, oops. "I repeat," said the Lorax.
I'm the one that speaks for the trees.
"I'm busy," I told him. "Be quiet, please." I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, built a radio phone and put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and said, "Listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch." And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped,
I'm the one that speaks for the trees.
"Which you seem to be chopping just as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factories, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered my loads of thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes.
I'm the one that speaks for the trees.
He coughed and he whiffed, he sneezed and he snuffled, he snargled and sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a crupulous croak, "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note." No one can sing with smog in his throat. "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here.
What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup, also schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old one-floor man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish come. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off, oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. Then I got mad. I got horribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm biggering, and biggering, and biggering. Turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud thwack. From out in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left, beneath the bad-smelling sky, was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, a very sad, sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. That was, and all that was left, and all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks and one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better, it's not. So, catch, called the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care. Grow a forest, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.